We had been out at sea for about 2 days at that point. Before things started happening, people started going missing, everyone until it was just me. The cruise was set for the Bahamas. My husband and I just got married, and the in-laws bought us the trip for our honeymoon. "You have your tickets and your passport?" my dad asks. "Yes, Daddy, we have everything," giving him one last hug before boarding. "You have your sunscreen and your hat?" My mother being motherly as usual. "Yes, Mom," giving her a hug as well. "We'll see you guys in 2 weeks," Tyler, my husband, says excitingly, giving final goodbyes and finally a boarding. After checking in, we were escorted to the honeymoon suite. While having a tour of the cruise and the activities we are able to attend. "You guys booked with us at the perfect time. We just finished renovating the honeymoon suite. It's an absolute perfect vacation destination," the attendant says as she opens the French doors. Revealing the suite and balcony, thanking the attendant for the escort, and closing the door. Tyler picks me up and carries me into the middle of the room. "At last, my beautiful wife. We are finally alone together. Anything you want to do first?" he says happily, while twirling us around. It was supposed to be magical. It had started with sunglasses. I had forgotten my sunglasses at home, and I had mentioned it to Tyler. The next morning, a pair showed up on the counter. "When did you get me a pair?" "I just told you last night I forgot mine." I asked Tyler. "I didn't get you sunglasses." Both puzzled about it. We decided to shake it off and continue with the amazing day. First on the schedule was a deep-sea breakfast. A room at the bottom of the boat, and the walls are made of thick glass, so while you eat you can see marine life. Pancakes, waffles with whipped cream, every fruit you could think of, fresh orange juice. I wish they had apple juice too. Moments later, a waiter came walking in with extra glasses and a pitcher of apple juice. "Ma'am," he says as he sets the glass down on the table, pouring the juice. My husband and I look at each other, both questioning the coincidence. "How did you do that?" Tyler asks. "I didn't do anything." The waiter leaves the pitcher on the table, then walks out of the room without saying anything else. Tyler and I both agree that things are starting to get weird. I look at the table, and I can't find the salt or pepper on the table, and I get an idea. "Hey, babe, can you pass the pepper?" Tyler asks. "I was just about to ask you for the salt," I respond. Moments later, the waiter walks in carrying a silver plate with salt and pepper shakers and sets them down on the table. "Sir, can you tell me what's going on here?" Tyler asks the waiter. "Whatever do you mean, sir?" the waiter asked, like everything was normal. "Well, every time we have mentioned something, you have brought it out to us. What gives?" My husband is getting a little agitated. "Sir, is everything to your liking?" the waiter asks. "Well, yes," cutting off Tyler. "Are you experiencing excellent service?" he asks. "Well, yes," cutting off Tyler again. "Then, sir," I ask again, "whatever do you mean? What gives?" mocking my husband, leaving us in silence. My husband and I look at each other and can't help but laugh at what just happened. Finishing our breakfast, we then move up to the upper deck to take in the sun and take pictures before our next activity. In one of the photos, Tyler is kissing my cheek. In the background, you can see an old woman in the background wearing a dirty nightgown. But we wouldn't notice her until later when we look back at the photos. If only we had looked at the photos. Maybe we would have had a little more time. Our next activity was hang gliding. That's when things really went wrong. Tyler has been hang gliding for years, so he and I were able to go up strapped together. as the crew strapped us up and sent us on our way, right around 700 feet. We felt a hard tug. It made us do a hard dip in the air, making us yell. Looking down, we see that the crew that had sent us up had disappeared. "Babe, look!" I yelled to my husband while pointing down at the boat. We start yelling down and wailing our arms around to get someone's attention. We yell until one of the other passengers notices our commotion. Minutes later, the same passenger and some other crew members show up to get us down. Finally ending our activity, Tyler yells at the crew, "What is going on around here?" The crew apologizing for the mishap. "No, someone tell me what is going on." The crew disappeared. They were there 1 second and then gone the next. I didn't know what to do. I was in panic, sitting down against the wall, shaking with my head in my hands. "Look at my wife. She is terrified. Someone answer me." The crew looked confused at us. "Sir, this activity isn't open right now. This activity doesn't open until later in the day." My husband looked at the crew member like he had just slapped him in the face. "What do you mean? It doesn't open till later. We have a reservation. We're on our honeymoon, and it's a part of our activities list," Tyler declared. The same crew member, "Sir, you may have a reservation, but the activity itself isn't open till 3 p.m. It's 11:30 a.m. My husband laughing, "That's not possible because our reservation says 11:15 a.m. C." Tyler says while pulling up the reservation. Shoving the phone in the crew member's face, looking at the phone, the crew member reads the information out loud for both of us to hear. 2 tickets for Bethany and Tyler James for hang gliding at 4:15 p.m. on the upper deck on Tuesday, May 17th. My eyes widening, Tyler becoming even more confused. "That isn't possible. The crew had to scan us in before strapping us in." "It's the rules." The crew members becoming suspicious of us. "Sir, I'm still trying to understand how you and your wife got back here without a crew member. We're going to need to take you and your wife in for some questioning." Tyler became resistful, and multiple of the members had to restrain him. I was still shaking and trying to understand how the crew members just disappeared out of nowhere, separating us and putting us in 2 different rooms. I can still hear Tyler yelling in the background for me. After waiting for 15 minutes, a woman in a business suit came in and introduced herself before sitting down. "I'm Jessica Stive, and I'll be the one conducting the interview of what happened today. But first, do you have any questions for me?" My hands are still shaking. "Can I see my husband?" Opening the beige folder she carried in and clicking her pen. "Not for the time being. Your husband has been placed under temporary arrest," she replies. "Do I need a lawyer?" I ask her, crossing her hands in front of her while holding her pen. "Do you feel like you did something wrong to need legal representation?" Confused, I answered, "I'm not sure. I'm confused on what is going on." Jessica looked for any lie that might be found on my face within my reactions. "You and your husband were found unaccompanied on the upper deck flying on the hang glider. Do you deny this?" Looking down at my hands. It was a part of our activities list, writing down my answer as if it had an underlying meaning. "Tell me everything that has happened since you and your husband boarded the ship," Jessica states. "We were escorted to our room after checking in. On our way to our room, our escort gave us a tour and mentioned our list of activities. After getting to our room, Tyler and I spent some time together before getting ready for bed. I had mentioned to him that I forgot my sunglasses at home, and the next morning there were sunglasses on the table for me. Then we went to have breakfast in the sea. While having breakfast, we experienced a weird kind of service. They were rude yet attentive. Afterwards, Tyler said our reservation for hang gliding was at 11:15 on the upper deck. Listening to every word that came out of my mouth, I didn't believe what I was saying. On our way up, we decided to take pictures, then we headed up, got checked in, strapped in, and were up in the air. Jessica started writing again. We were looking off in the distance when something tugged on the rope. I looked down and saw the crew wasn't there anymore. Writing down a bit more, Jessica says, "So what happened to the attendant that escorted you to your suite and the waiter from breakfast?" Looking at her with all seriousness, I say, "What do you mean, what happened to them?" Scribbling her pen without even looking up from the paper, Jessica calmly states, "We haven't been able to find these people after they've crossed paths with you and your husband, Mrs. James." My hands shaking even more. "There's more people missing? Mrs. James, do you know where these people are?" Showing me photos of the crew members, the escort, the waiter. I had no idea what was going on. "Mrs. James, how long have you known your husband?" Staring down at my ring like it was the most foreign thing ever to have touched my body. 5 years. Why? Writing down some more, I plead, "Why? What does my husband or my marriage have to do with these missing people?" Jessica putting down her pen and closing the folder. "Mrs. James, we have reasons to believe that you and or your husband are the cause of these missing people." My heart pounding, my entire body shaking. "For the time being, you and your husband, Tyler James, are under arrest for the suspension of murder and or kidnapping, and until we dock on shore, you and your husband will be staying in our holding cell for the rest of the trip. Do you have any more questions for me before I leave?" My eyes completely wide, filled with tears. "I don't understand any of this. I'd like to make a phone call. I need to call our lawyer." Jessica, standing up out of her chair. "Someone will bring you to a room to make your phone call on a secured line, leaving me in the room alone. Mrs. James, if you'll come with me, I'll be taking you to the holding cell." I get up and follow the officer. Locking me in the cell, I see Tyler in the holding cell on the other side of the room. "Excuse me, officer. Am I allowed to talk to my husband?" "No." The officer dictates. "There will be no talking, no noises. Unless one of you is dying, I don't want to hear it." Looking at Tyler, tears are filling my eyes. Could he have done this? Could he have hurt all of these people and made them disappear? "I am going to the bathroom. I'll be back in a couple of minutes." "Don't do anything stupid," the officer states before leaving the room. "Tyler, what did you do?" I ask him quietly, scared of what his answer will be. "What did I do? What did you do, Bethany? All those people. How could you?" Crying even harder, I ask him, "What are you talking about? They say everyone's went missing after meeting us." Tyler looked at me as if I was an alien with two heads. "Bethany, they're saying you made these people disappear." "I had nothing to do with it," I yell at Tyler. "Well, neither did I," he proclaims back. "Wait, so if you had nothing to do with it and I had nothing to do with it, then who did?" I ask. Half an hour passes, and the officer isn't back from the bathroom. "Think he got lost?" Tyler jokes as I'm pacing in my cell. "Sit down, relax." Tyler tells me, "Relax? We're on our honeymoon and we have been arrested on suspicion of murder and kidnapping. How can you relax right now?" I stress to him, "Because when we get out of here, I'm ripping the captain a new one, and telling him he needs to get a better crew who doesn't dip out in the middle of a shift. Another half hour passes by, and the officer still hasn't returned. "Where is that officer?" I ask out loud again. Tyler, still in his cell, passed out in the cot. Looking through the window, taking in the subpar view of the water, thinking about if I should try to break out, because no one has come down for our phone call. 10 more minutes passed by and still no one. I finally gave in to the intrusive thought and pulled the pin out of my hair, sticking it into the keyhole, giving it a few jiggles before it unlocked. "Tyler," I yelled to my husband, men being men. He didn't wake up. Walking over to him, "Tyler," I repeat while tapping him to wake him up. His eyes opening and seeing me with the same eyes he had when I said yes to marrying him 2 years ago. "Bethany, how'd you get out?" I hold up my hairpin. "Seriously?" I nod my head, giggling. "Come on. Something's not right." Tyler and I holding hands as we make our back up to the outside of the boat. Something is different. None of the doors are locked. There's no one in the halls or up on deck, walking around. We look all over. There isn't a soul on board but us. "Where is everyone?" The deck pool and water slides were empty. Not even a lifeguard on duty. At the bar, there wasn't a bartender. Everywhere we went, it is empty, like no one had even been in the room. "Where did everyone go?" Tyler and I hold hands even tighter. No splitting up. We both agree carrying on our search for finding another person on the boat. We checked rooms, bathrooms, employee-only rooms, and not a single person was on this boat, but the two of us. "Where is everyone?" I asked Tyler, thinking he'll have the answer. "I don't know," he replies. Continuing to search the boat for any sign of life. Everything was off. Lights, fans, the elevators, even the engines. There was no way for us to turn the power back on. It's like everyone abandoned ship, and we were cast out at sea alone. "What are we gonna do?" I asked Tyler. Releasing our hands, he starts to rub his face vigorously, groaning with his hands still on his face. "What?" I ask him. "Will you shut up for even a minute so I can think of a way for us to get out of here?" He hisses at me, leaving me almost speechless. "What?" I ask, confused. "What?" he responds, mocking me. "Oh, someone help me, I can't do anything for myself." He continues mocking me. "You know, if you dropped the dumb bimbo act, I would have married you sooner. I only married you now because my parents told me to." My eyes wide with confusion and tears. "What?" I asked, as if he didn't break my heart the first time. "My parents said if we didn't get married, they'd leave me out of the will and my older brother will get everything in his inheritance. Meanwhile, I've actually been cheating on you for the past 4 years." Slowly backing away from him, not sure of where any of this was coming from. "You know your friend Julie and her 3-year-old daughter Marcella? Yeah, that's my kid. And your friend Monica with the twins, those are mine too," Tyler states, my heart being smeared on the floor. "Why?" I asked him, as if the deal his parents made him wasn't enough for me. "Because I could. I just had to make sure you never had any of my kids." I couldn't listen anymore. I left him at the bar and went outside. I couldn't believe what he just said to me. Running to the edge of the boat, throwing my body against the railing. Throwing up, realizing how much time was wasted. How many miscarriages I had happening out of nowhere for a reason doctors and specialists could never figure out. How? How did he do it? How did he kill our unborn children? Running back to the bar, ready for round 2. "Tyler, I yelled as I opened the door. The room being completely empty, Tyler being nowhere in sight. Tyler! No response. No movement at all but the sound of the ship hitting the ocean waves. Tyler! Tears running down my face, not out of missing him, but out of being alone on a ship with no way out, and no way to call for help. I'm gonna die,